Hi there. Hi, everybody. So welcome. This is our final podcast on Advent, the theme of Advent. We've been really enjoying going through David Matisse's book, or Mathis's book, um, on the unexpected Christmas. And so hi, Evangeline. Hi, Joshua.
Hi,
Can
Andy.
you
You want to say
give
hello
us a
to them?
wave?
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
Good
yeah, we've got a
girl.
wave.
Good
Awesome.
girl.
Hello. Awesome, fantastic. So, speaking of babies, Joshua, um, Advent and Christmas. Tell me one thing that's really struck you over this Advent period.
Hmm. Um, well, actually, it's been quite an unexpected, almost coincidental one, really, because so over the last few weeks, I've been reading a book called The New Testament and the People of God, and it's a book kind of exploring the world of the New Testament, the social backgrounds, what the Jewish kind of worldview was at the time, and kind of how the New Testament builds on that.
Okay, so that's
And
NT Wright, isn't it, for our
yeah, it
listeners? Is
is.
that right?
Yeah.
Great.
Now, the book isn't a Christmas book by any means, but there's a large section where it talks about kind of the Jewish festivals and the Jewish expectation, the Jewish longing. And what you get is there were so many kind of diverse groups around Israel at the time. And yet,
Mm.
one thing that really united all of them was the longing and expectation for God to act, for God to come to his people Israel and to vindicate them again, as he had done in previous generations. And so, as I say, there's some very diverse views, but the thing that unites all of them is we need God to act, we need God to come. And he looks at the festivals at the time and how they were celebrated and the stories they were telling. And there was this kind of bursting anticipation. Obviously, as a Christian, I found it so profound, especially this Christmas time, because I know how God met that expectation. He met it, through the person of Jesus Christ, through becoming a human and coming to us. And so all of our great longing, I said it in my sermon a few weeks ago. I'll say it again now. The hopes and fears of all the years are met in Jesus. Oh, right. And
Who, by the way, do you think Jesus no crying he made?
no, but we can talk about Gnosticism another time.
Right. So
Uh,
he don't think he was. He think he was a normal baby.
he was a normal baby. He was truly God, truly man, and true babies cry. That's what he
Yes.
will tell you.
Very, very good. So I interrupted your point. The hopes and fears of all the years are met in thee, you're saying.
Yeah, I found that really profound, seeing how this longing that was around for so long truly has been met. God has met it by coming as a tiny baby. It's not the way that you think that God is going to come and kind of vindicate his people. It's probably not what they were expecting. And I've just found it so profound at Christmas. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Wow.
And so,
That's
I mean,
great.
much the same for you, Andy. What have you found particularly kind of groundbreaking with Christmas?
Well, I have to say, I think I've enjoyed Christmas more this year than ever before in terms of actually the true meaning of Christmas. I think it's been great to study. I really think Matisse's book has been really helpful and excellent. He's led me off on all sorts of rabbit trails where I've read other things as well. I think the incarnation is an underrated, and
Amen.
actually people need to realize that it is just totally central. It's not just a precursor to the cross and resurrection. It's not just like it had to happen, let's just get this story out of the way because we want to get to the cross. It's actually part of the story of salvation. It's an integral, essential part. I really enjoyed just starting out when we began with looking at Mary and traveling to be with Elizabeth, and that period of gestation and expectation growing when she sang the Magnificat. I really enjoyed looking at that. And I think one of the biggest thoughts I've had and revelations I've had this Christmas is just this understanding that Jesus had to become fully human in every way in order to heal every aspect of our humanity. And so I've realized, it's not just that Jesus became one of us so that he could sympathize with us as a human being. It is that, but it's more than that. He had to become us in every way, have a reasonable soul as well as a full human body. He had to have full human emotions. so that, because what he assumed he can heal, if what he didn't assume he cannot heal. And so he assumed every aspect of us in order to redeem and heal every aspect of us. And that's the only way that this could have happened, is God becoming a man. So it's just, I've found that really encouraging. How about you? Have you got any reflections on that, or any other second thought that you'd like to share with us?
Both, really. I mean, I think that's just a really profound point, really. I said it when I preached after Christmas Day last year, and one of the points I made was it's such a shame that we wait until Christmas to talk about the incarnation, because it is so profound. You know, that God becomes a man, that He comes down to our level. It's just crazy, really. So it's wonderful to reflect on. But in terms of something else, I mean, I've got something that comes up every Christmas, really, and that just is the sense of Advent means waiting, and whilst Christmas is primarily about reflecting on a past event of Jesus having come, it's also waiting. It's a period of longing for the second coming, where because Jesus has come once, we therefore have hope for Him to come again. And so every Christmas, I just find myself coming back to a kind of a longing for the kingdom to come in more fullness, for Jesus to come and return His bride, and just that the hope that we have that in the first coming, Jesus has bought our future, and so our future, to be resurrected, to be on this earth with Him, is something that I find myself even more excited for every Christmas. The fact that we live in between the two events that divide history, the first coming and the end of history, the second coming. These are just two amazing events that we live in between. And so at Christmas, I just really hope, both for myself and for anyone watching, that our anticipation for what's coming increases even more. So
That's excellent. And would you say that issues for you in a lively expectation of God's intervention in history for us? That, I mean, in the same way that Jesus began as this tender shoot, but grew, and it became this huge thing. Would you say that for you, there's an expectation that we can have expectation of God intervening, not just when He comes on the clouds, but He's going to do things in our lifetime?
And I don't know if some people know that you're stepping on some theological toes, Andy. I have absolute hope that it's funny that we use that phrase, that God will act within history, because I think it's a funny view that we have, that sometimes God isn't acting and sometimes He does act, when actually all of history is God acting. And I would say all of history, since the first coming, is God manifesting the kingdom even more. Sometimes it's setbacks, but gradually the kingdom is growing. And so I mean, my anticipation is that Jesus will return, but I think until we get there, there's so much more to look forward to and to long for, and kind of that's the icing on the cake, really. So but I think we'll see amazing things in our lifetime. I've put my cards on the table. I don't think that Jesus is going to return in my lifetime, but I'm very excited for the generation that He does return for. And either way, I'll be resurrected to see Him. So, it's all good.
Amen. Absolutely. Very good. Well, there we are.
Yeah.
Very good.
So, Andy, would you like to finish off with your another thing that you have found this Christmas time?
Yeah, okay, just to finish off, really, I mean, just picking up on that, this is not in the script, this bit, but, I loved it this morning, just looking at Isaiah 11, that it talks about this shoot that comes out of the stump of Jesse. So this thing that looks so unpromising, this devastation, and yet there's going to be this tender shoot that will grow into a branch that will become the king, will be crowned. And so, again, echo that sense of expectation of this tender shoot that will grow into something that is growing into something huge. And I've just thoroughly enjoyed reading Jonathan Edwards' the excellencies of Christ this Christmas, and listening. By the way, you can listen to his sermon now being read out in 3 parts on podcast. But excellent, beautiful sermon, and a precursor to the Great Awakening, actually, in a sense, exploring these issues of who Christ is sparked revival. And so I love what he writes. And just to finish with, I love a quote that he wrote, which is this: that he says that Jesus is both majestic, but he's also meek. So he's the Lion of Judah, but he's the Lamb as well. And I love, he points out that Jesus still excels in humility towards us. So whilst we're waiting, we can experience his kindness and grace towards us, because he is still the humble lamb who is on the throne. And so he says, Jonathan Edwards says, that though he appears now in glorious majesty and dominion in heaven, yet he appears as a lamb in his condescending, mild, and sweet treatment of his saints here on earth. And so he says that though in heaven every knee bows to him, and though the angels fall down before him, yet he treats his saints with infinite condescension, love, mildness, patience, and endearment. And in his acts towards the saints on earth, Jesus still appears as a lamb, manifesting exceeding love and tenderness in his intercession for them, as one that has had experience of affliction and temptation like them.
That's wonderful. There's a quote, just talking about that, Jesus being exalted but also humble. There's a quote from that same sermon, which I love. Jonathan Edwards says, there is an admirable conjunction of diverse excellencies in Jesus Christ. Saying there's qualities in Jesus. He has so many qualities which you don't necessarily think one man could possess. How could he be the ruler of everything but also the humble lamb? But, that is our Lord, and that's what we remember at Christmas. So thanks very much, Andy.
Amen. Thank you, Joshua. Well done.
Pleasure. So I think we'll sign off there, and we hope everyone has a wonderful Christmas, and we hope to see you soon afterwards.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us. And just don't forget, we've got a half-hour service at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, Christmas Day. So you're welcome to come along and just to celebrate Christmas with us for maximum of half an hour at 10 o'clock.
Awesome. All right. See you later, guys. Bye.
Cheers.